everyone, Stephanie Denman here from the Denman Homestead. Today I am actually in the greenhouse watering some of my plants that I have moved in here before the freeze happened. Well, we've had freezing temperatures every day now for 4 or 5 days. It's dipped into the 20s and then kind of warmed up to like sometimes in the 40s, and then it'll go back into the 30s, 20s at night. So I wanted to put my more sensitive potted plants in the greenhouse, and I thought this would be a really good time to do a 1-year review on our Costco greenhouse that we got last January. So yeah, let's do a 1-year update on how this is held up in Southeast Texas in the summer and now in our second winter. A couple things that I will note is that right now it's 30, I can double check, but I'm pretty sure it's like 38 degrees outside, but I have a thermometer in here and I'll show you what it is at right now inside. Okay, I just checked before I recorded and it's 39 degrees outside. And inside here, we're almost at 60. It feels actually really good in here. Outside, the wind is blowing. I don't know if you can see these trees right outside this window, but it's blowing outside and it's chilly outside with 39 degrees, but the feels like temperature is more like 32. So I will say while I'm standing right here, this little vent down here, you can feel some of the colder air on the ground blowing through here. But inside here, I mean, it's comfortable. I could work in here all day if I needed to. Overall, we've had hurricanes. Obviously, you guys know we've had a tree fall on our house, really high winds, and this held up absolutely beautifully. There's no shifting, no movement. Everything where we set it is where it's at. So that is, first and foremost, it's a very sturdy building. On to this part of it, which opens when it gets closer to 70 degrees in here. It'll start to crack open because it's temperature controlled. The only downfall about this right here is that it does leak whenever there's rain. So down here, if I walk in, there'll be like a little bit of a puddle or something. That was actually from me just walking in with my watering can. It hasn't rained in here, but there'll be a little bit of a puddle right here from water that will come in through this latch that kind of lifts up to release air, which it's a greenhouse, so that's not a huge deal for me for it to have a little bit of water that comes in. Now, if you weren't around whenever we first installed this, I put down a base of 2x4s underneath here to secure this down into, you can kind of see it over here. Down on the bottom, that 2x4, we secured the 2x4 frame to rebar that we put down in the ground. And then we secured the whole building to it. And then we put down like a barrier, a weed barrier, and then we basically filled it in with this pea gravel and these stones. One issue that you probably have already noticed is that ants. Ants have found their way in here to live. And, you know, that's just part of, you know, where we live, and I have to treat for that. So they found their way in here, and I haven't actually been in here to work in here for a while, so they don't really bother me right now. But as soon as I'm in here, you know, more in the next couple months, getting ready for my spring garden, I'll have to get them out of here with some ant killer. But yeah, the ants are pretty much primarily the only pest. There's no wasp's nest in here. There's no spiders that have set up with like spider webs anywhere. We might have like a little bit of a dirt dauber that found its way in there. I can knock that down. But other than that, I mean, honestly, pest-wise, that's what we're looking at. Now, structure-wise, I said this building held up, but we did have this was actually supposed to connect to something somewhere. I can't remember exactly. I think right here in this. So at one point I had this open, because you can prop this door open with this little doohickey and that'll keep it open. But one day I just had this door closed, and you know, as per usual, it was just closed, and it had this chain attached here, right? But when the door was closed and this was not latched, it was just open like this, and the door was closed, this vent up here was open, and it was pushing this door with like a really bad storm. It was pushing this door open with a draft, and it somehow ripped this chain off of where that was, you know. Do we need this chain? No, not really. I honestly don't need it at all. I really haven't had a need for it. If I need to keep the door open, I just use this little latch, or if I want the door closed, I can close it. You may know that Jamie got in here and locked herself in. When this closed, somehow that little latch on the outside wiggled its way to the edge of the thing. That's never happened to me. Excuse me. But if I am in here during the summertime, I will keep this. It's hot in here in the summertime. So if I'm in here, I will definitely always keep this door propped open, just for extra safety precautions. So, because if you're trapped in a greenhouse, I mean, that's scary. But I've never had it lock on me. I mean, I know it can happen, but, so anyway, yeah, I have one other complaint, but it's nothing to do with this, with the building itself. It's with the animals. So the outside looks like this. Everything still looks really good. So you can see the base better on the outside. But look at this. Yeah, cats have used this exterior. I mean, look at this gouge. Cats have used this exterior board right here as a scratching post. And I am going to have to figure this out, because eventually they could probably work their way all the way in. This has been a year, and it's the other day I actually noticed it because it was different colors. But I'm going to have to do some sort of like spray or something around here so they stop scratching and fill this back in, maybe with some wood putty. But that's really disappointing that the outdoor cats have really messed this one corner up. I haven't really noticed it. I mean, I really haven't walked around much, but I haven't really noticed it anywhere else. The sealant has looked good. It has stayed pretty well all the way around where we were instructed to put it. So, and just remember, caulking and sealing, that's a maintenance issue. And if you do see some splitting over time, your sealant will, start to crack and break with you can strip that off with a little knife and then re-caulk it over time. That's just a maintenance thing. So it's not going to last forever. The roof looks good. We don't really have any issues with a whole lot of debris collecting. I mean, we'll get a couple little pine needles here and there, but overall, 1 year later, I'm very happy with this purchase. Like, I could not have asked for a better greenhouse. And truth be told, I'm not in here a lot during the summer. It's way too hot in here during the summer for me to actually do anything, and there's not a large reason for me to be working in here during the heat of the summer, other than this is where I keep a lot of my seed starter pots and extra soil and stuff like that, like neem oil and stuff that doesn't really have to be super temperature controlled. So if I have to come in here and grab like a shovel or something, like a hand shovel, then I'll be in here. But most of the time I'm in here during the winter months and the early spring, and just being in here right now about to water these plants, it's getting me excited to start planning again, to get before I can start planning, I really need to clean out my big massive garden. because that was just a disaster from last year, from the flooding and the hailstorms and everything. So I really got to get in there and get that all cleaned up. But just being in here, I don't know, gets me in the mood, gets me just ready to start planning. So I love it. Still smells so good in here, which is kind of crazy because you feel like over time, I feel like maybe it's just a cedar thing, but it still has a very strong, refreshing cedar smell in here. So, yeah, everything is just held up beautifully, and I absolutely love it, and I would do it over and over and over again based on this 1 year review. Now, I will say, if you are concerned about this latch closing up on you, like if you get trapped in here, there are different mechanisms that, I mean, you could just take this latch off altogether, but then again, just know that you may have a draft issue with really windy days where this door will just constantly be opening and closing on its own. Sorry about that little jingle bell. I put it on here for reasons, but you can take that, you can leave the latch off, or you can figure out a whole nother system to, a latching system. I know in my chicken coop, I have an emergency thing where I've ran wire on the inside of the coop that I can pull, and it will unlatch the little closing latch from the outside if I need to, if I get stuck in my chicken coop, because ask me how I know about getting stuck in a chicken coop. It's happened to me way too many times where I've had to install an emergency latch. But this is Daniel's peach, y'all. Daniel gave me 3 peach pits. I guess it was last year, a year ago, 2 years ago. I can't remember. I'll have to look it up. But he asked me if I would grow a peach tree out of the peach pits that he saved from these peaches he ate. And I said, I'll try. I've never done it. But and this is the good thing about being in a greenhouse, like you can just let it go. It's just let it go. This was another one of the peach trees. It never actually did much. As you can tell, there's like just a slightest bit of something, but this whole system down here was all twisted and knotted, and it never really took off in a good way. Super shallow roots. I just kept watering it because that's just what I do. Just to try to keep it alive, but I'm really honestly like it's a goner. It's not going to be a strong tree anyway. But this one ended up actually taking off from a pit. So that's pretty cool. And then these cute little gifts I got were from Bree from Christmas. I got a Wandering Jew, a Swedish ivy, which I believe these two came from cuttings from Jamie that Bree kept alive, which good on her, because that's amazing. I normally can't do indoor plants. And then this golden pothos, which I have been begging to have someone give me a cutting from a pothos, and Bree gave me one. So yeah, I'm just super thrilled to have these, and I put them in my greenhouse, and they've been thriving, and I've just been watering them just a little bit. These ones are actually pretty moist still. Yeah, I have a reminder on my phone to come in here and water them once a week. Eventually, I'm going to take some of this cutting from the golden pothos and stick it in a vase. Once it gets going a little bit, I don't want to cut it while it's kind of short, but once it gets going, I'm going to put it in a vase and let it take off in my shop area. Yeah. So soon, from top shelf to bottom, this is going to be full of seed starts, and I cannot wait. Now, these little racks did not come with this setup, like these racks down here. These actually came with an old plastic greenhouse I had. Before I had this one, I just had this tiny little plastic greenhouse that fell apart after one season because of the heat and the wind. But I took the trays in here, threw away the ripped up plastic, and I kept the stands and everything, and it has helped me, give me more space to store things. And when I've got seeds everywhere. It's been a real big help. And I can still walk around in here with a good amount of space to move about. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this 1-year review. Got my little gnome from Rock City, when we went over there, Rock City in Tennessee. And these were gifted to me by a viewer. They sent me these. These are really neat. I believe they were made in Africa. It was pretty cool. So let me see. I thought maybe they would be signed, but like metal art painted. So actually, this is what it is. Hands from Haiti. Sorry, it's from Haiti. Hands of Haiti. I saved the tag. Art from hands from Haiti. So that's pretty cool. I love it. But yeah, I lock this back so no critters can somehow get in there and trap themselves. And then of course the wind doesn't blow it open. But if I'm in there, that's unlocked for sure. So, also here's, I love this. I love that. This is what my side garden looks like, if you're wondering. It's the dead of winter. I mean, we're January and this is real life here. We've got my asparagus that's just completely fallen over. And then we've got volunteer cilantro literally everywhere. Oh, it smells so good. But cilantro is just sprouting everywhere from our cilantro plants. I mean, if you look hard enough, there's food everywhere. Goji berries. You guys know what I've got. Chives, cilantro, that's basically hedge. All of my basil has died off now because it doesn't like temperatures like below 60. And you can see these little carrots through because carrots are, you know, a fall cold, early spring weather. But yeah, these carrots were actually planted last year, and I guess, I don't know if they've reseeded or, yeah, this isn't. It's just a late bloomer or a reseeded itself. So, yeah, got my grapevines going. That is that's what we're looking like 1 year later. Thanks for hanging out with me today, checking on the greenhouse. I'm about to go into the barn and fill a bunch of Etsy orders, and I'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.
On the Denman Homestead, where the sun sets golden in the west, we live in harmony with nature, doing what we love best. From the garden to the kitchen, and the bees inside their hive. On the Denman Homestead, come along and plant, nourish, thrive.